Hey guys, what is going on? It is Sam here. Welcome to my solo dungeoneering guide. In this video I'll be teaching you the basics on how to effectively solo a dungeoneering floor. Okay then, so there are no requirements to actually do this, however I do recommend that you have some knowledge on how to complete a dungeon, including killing monsters, collecting the keys, and then killing the boss. Okay, so before we go into the dungeon I'm going to show you what your ability bar should look like to maximise your killing whilst doing the floor. So the first one is Slice, then Punish, Cleave, Sever, Hurricane, Quake, Assault, Overpower, Berserk, Freedom, Regenerate, and also Guffix's Blessing. Now it's important to have these abilities as they all work well with each other in terms of timing, and they also do a fair bit of damage as well. I also recommend to have the key bindings the same as mine, which is 1 2 3 4 Q W E R A S D F, as this makes it really easy on your keyboard to actually perform all of these moves. So as you can tell with this ability bar we will only be using melee. This is because melee is the best in terms of completing the dungeon the fastest. Using range or magic is just slower, and you really want to be able to kill the monsters as fast as you can. Okay, so now we have the basics out of the way. I'm going to go over what floors you want to do at what level. So if you go over to your ring and create a party and then click on the floor part and click change, you'll see it will show you the whole list of floors available for you to do. I recommend doing floors 1 to 29 on solo C6. This is because they're fairly low leveled and you want to sort of get them done as fast as you can. However, doing it on C6 is good as it grants you a fair bit of XP. Now when you hit level 59 you'll realise that you've unlocked floor 30. From then on upwards I recommend to do these floors on sized medium C6, as the time it takes to do them you'll be gaining a lot more XP than before. Now just as a side note, once you've completed all of your floors and they've got a tick on them, you want to head over to this part here and click on reset. Pretty much what this will do is reset all of your floors so that you can actually do them over again and get as much XP as you can. However, you only want to do this once you've completed all of your floors, as if you haven't it will really mess up your XP gain. So once you've got your floor selected, you want to go down here now to change your complexity. So as you can see it's on 6 already. If you go any lower you'll see that it gets a XP penalty, which is really sort of bad, and even though it will be faster to complete the dungeon, you want to keep it on number 6 so that you can get no XP penalty and get the most that you can. Now before I go into what you need to do to actually start completing your dungeon, I wanted to go over what you should have as armor and weapons. As you can see I've got primal plate body and primal plate legs. You can always swap this out for say Prometheum or any lower, but you want to make sure you've got some melee armor. And then I've got a primal two-hander. This is really nice to have. Again, you can swap it down to a Promethean two-hander or anything like that. I recommend to have a 2H sword as they are the best and you can hit the monsters fairly easily with them. I've got the Dungeoneering ring, of course, which is on Berserker. I'm not going to go into that though because it can get quite confusing, but if you go into it you can see that you can give it yourself some bonuses. And then finally I've got some Sagittarian arrows. You might be wondering why. I have got a Hex Hunter in my invent. I recommend to have a secondary sort of combat styled weapon, so like a staff or a bow. I recommend a bow, it's easier to have, so you know if you ever need to kill a monster that's weak to range and you've got that, so you know these tie in well and it really helps me speed up the dungeons when I need to kill something. So when you're finally ready to start the dungeon, you want to head over to the tables here and see if you can find any rune essence. What you want to do with this is to go obviously to the altar and start creating some cosmics and some laws. If there isn't any rune essence on the tables, then you can always get some armor pieces and just sell them to the smuggler. What I like to make with these is at least 40 laws and 40 cosmics to get you going, to create the gatestones to be able to teleport you around the dungeon. So there you go, to create the gatestone you just got to use that spell and then you've got both of them ready in your invent. So it's very easy from now on to actually complete the dungeon. All you've got to do is kill the monsters that you need to, pick up the keys and then kill the boss. To do with the gatestones though, I recommend you place them in faraway locations so that it saves time from running around. Seeing as we're only doing a small floor though, it doesn't matter too much, but I still recommend to use them as it just does save time. When you are doing medium floors, it'll be a big grid sort of this sort of shape, and you want to place say one at the top and one at the bottom, just so you can get to the key doors a bit faster and generally just get more XP per hour. So right now I'm on the boss, and the good thing about soloing as well is that most of the bosses and monsters are really easy to kill, so it saves a lot of time from the usual rooms that take a fair amount of time to actually complete. As you can see I've just killed this boss and it wasn't too bad. Now if we look at the time, it will be a bit longer than usual because I've been recording this floor. I've spent a lot of time sort of just standing still, but you could usually complete this floor in about 4 minutes. So as you can see I got 20k XP for that. Now it does depend on your prestige, like the higher prestige you have the more XP you will get, but really it's still a nice XP amount to get from just spending a short period of time on doing so. Now it's always a bit different when doing medium floors. Obviously you're going to have a bigger dungeon, so I recommend to take an overload dose just to speed up the start of it. I will be doing floor 38 with a complexity of 6 of course, and I'm going to be recording the full dungeon with all of the points that I've included in this guide, just to show you what it really is like when doing a floor. So there we have it. I just finished that floor and I got a time of 8 minutes and 17 seconds with over 50k XP, which is actually pretty good. You also might have noticed on the boss as well, I had to use my combat weapon, which was my Hex Hunter bow, so that's just another reason why I recommend to have one of them. So if you're looking for a little bit more XP, you can always go to the rewards trader and trade in the points that you have. Now every point you can get 1 XP from it, which might not seem too much, but after a while it will add up and it will be very beneficial. Right now I've got 3.3 million tokens. If I were to spend that on the Dungeoneering XP, that's 3.3 mil XP taken in, which is actually pretty damn good. If you manage to get a daily Dungeoneering challenge, then make sure you do that, as they're fairly easy to do. They only take me about 5 minutes and the XP you can get from it is actually quite substantial. For my level, which is around 118, I can get upwards of 170k XP, so if you do get that, make sure you do it, because it really is quite beneficial for your level. And then the final good way to get Dungeoneering XP is to do the sinkholes minigame. You can do this twice a day and it's actually surprisingly good. You can get upwards of 100k XP from every go. Like I said, you can do it 2 times. If you work that out, that's a nice 200k XP for Dungeoneering, and it's actually really easy. Now I'm not going to go into full detail on how to do this minigame, but I will give you a brief on what to do, as I do recommend that you try this out. You're pretty much pitted with 4 other people, and you just have to complete the dungeon like any other, except you've got to pick up these certain totems and collect resources, and towards the end of it there's 5 different chests with different rewards in, which you have to sort of play each other to try and get the best one, which is the huge XP lamp, which for me can get me nearly 100k XP, so that's actually pretty good. It's a really good way to get some Dungeoneering XP if you want to have a break from the usual floors. And also the second time I recorded this, I actually managed to get the huge XP lamp again, so just simply doing this minigame, which really doesn't take too long, probably about 5 to 10 minutes, you can yield in quite a fair bit of XP, so I definitely recommend to do your daily sinkholes, as it will help you out a lot if you're going for the big levels such as 99 or 120. So that is it for this guide. I hope it has helped you. If it has, please throw it a thumbs up, that'd be awesome. I can tell you for sure that it has helped me in terms of trading this way. I soloed a couple of my last floors for 120 Dungeoneering and I didn't find it boring at all. It was actually pretty fast too. But yeah, if you have enjoyed it, then also don't forget to subscribe and look out for more guides like this. But apart from that guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.